I didn't realize something was wrong until the second night. At first I thought the sounds were just part of staying in an old house. Floorboards creak, pipes make noise, wood expands and contracts. That's normal. But what happened in that Airbnb wasn't normal, and by the time I understood that, it was already too late. This happened last October. I'm 26 and I live in Seattle. I had taken a 3-day trip to Portland for a design conference. Hotels were expensive that weekend, so I booked an Airbnb instead. The listing looked perfect. Small 2-story house, quiet neighborhood, great reviews. The host's name was Daniel. He had over 200 positive ratings. Everyone described him as responsive and friendly. Nothing seemed suspicious. The check-in process was unusual, though. Instead of using a lockbox, Daniel said he'd meet me in person. When I arrived, he was already outside waiting. He looked normal, mid-40s, average height, glasses, soft-spoken, friendly smile. He shook my hand and said, "Hope you enjoy the place." Then he gave me a quick tour. Living room, kitchen, bathroom, guest bedroom upstairs. Everything looked clean, normal. But before leaving, he said something strange. "If you hear noises at night, don't worry." I laughed a little. "What kind of noises?" He smiled. "Old house. That was it." Then he left. At least, I thought he did. The first day was fine. Conference, dinner, back to the house around 10 p.m. I locked the front door, double-checked it, went upstairs, watched YouTube, eventually slept. Around 2:30 a.m. I woke up. I heard footsteps, slow footsteps. Downstairs, I froze. At first I thought maybe it was outside, but no, it was inside the house. Step, 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 wood creaking. Someone was walking around the first floor. I grabbed my phone. No notifications, no messages. I listened carefully. The footsteps stopped. Silence. Then I heard something else. A cabinet opening, then closing. My heartbeat started racing. I told myself there had to be a logical explanation. Maybe I was hearing pipes, maybe neighbors, maybe the house settling. Then I heard it. A cough, a human cough, downstairs. I stopped breathing. There was someone in the house. I quietly got out of bed, locked the bedroom door, called Airbnb support. No answer. 2:37 a.m. Great. I opened the host chat and messaged Daniel. "Hey, I hear someone downstairs." He replied almost immediately. "Probably the house." I stared at the message. "What?" I typed back. "No, someone is inside." 3 dots appeared, then disappeared. No response. I stayed awake until sunrise. Eventually, the sound stopped. At 7 a.m., I went downstairs. Nothing looked disturbed. Everything seemed normal. But something felt off. One kitchen cabinet was open. I was sure it had been closed. I told myself I was being paranoid. I left for the conference, spent the whole day distracted. That night I almost booked a hotel. I should have. Instead, I convinced myself I was overreacting. Big mistake. The second night started normally. I got back around 9:45 p.m. The house was quiet. Too quiet. I checked every room. Closets, bathroom, kitchen, living room. Everything looked normal. No signs of forced entry, no broken windows, nothing. I locked the front door again. This time I also pushed a chair against my bedroom door, just in case. I felt stupid doing it, but not stupid enough to ignore my instincts. Around 1:50 a.m., I woke up again. No sound this time, just a feeling. You know that weird moment when your body wakes you before your brain understands why. That. I sat up slowly. The room was dark. Then I heard it. A sound right outside my door. Not footsteps, breathing, slow, heavy. Someone was standing in the hallway. Right outside my room. I stopped moving, every muscle locked. Then, the doorknob moved, very slowly. The chair blocked it. The knob turned again. Whoever was outside applied a little pressure. The door pushed inward slightly, then stopped. Silence. I wanted to call 911, but I couldn't move. Then I heard something that made my blood run cold. A whisper. Very quiet, almost playful. "I know you're awake." I grabbed my phone so fast I almost dropped it. I dialed 911. The operator answered. I whispered, "Someone is inside the Airbnb." The operator asked for my location. I gave the address. Then, the pressure on the door stopped. Footsteps, slowly walking away. Down the hallway, down the stairs. Step, 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 then silence. Police arrived 7 minutes later. Longest 7 minutes of my life. They searched the entire house. Nothing. No intruder, no broken lock, no open window, no evidence. One officer asked, "Are you sure you heard someone?" I almost snapped. "Someone spoke to me." The officer exchanged a look with his partner. Then one of them noticed something strange. The front door was still locked. From the inside. Nobody could have left without unlocking it. Unless they were still inside. The police searched again, more carefully. Still nothing. I packed immediately. No way I was staying. As I carried my bag downstairs, one officer stopped near the kitchen wall. He frowned, then knocked on it. Knock, knock, knock. One section sounded hollow. He looked at me. "Did the host mention storage?" "No." The officer pressed against the wall. Nothing. Then he noticed something. A nearly invisible seam in the wallpaper. A hidden door. My stomach dropped. The officer pulled hard. The wall opened. Behind it was a narrow staircase going down into darkness. I'll never forget that moment. The smell hit first. Stale air. Dust. Something rotten. The officers drew flashlights and descended. I stood frozen upstairs. Then I heard one officer yell, "Jesus!" The other shouted, "Call this in!" I knew it was bad, really bad. When they came back up, both looked pale. I asked what was down there. Neither answered immediately. Finally, one said, "You need to leave." I said, "What is it?" The officer looked directly at me. "There's a room under the house." I felt sick. A room. He nodded. Not a basement. A hidden living space. Mattress, water bottles, food wrappers, portable battery packs, blankets, and photographs. Lots of photographs. Of guests. My legs almost gave out. "What guests?" He paused. "Airbnb guests." Then came the worst part. They found fresh food, still warm. Whoever had been down there had been there recently. Very recently. One officer asked to see the Airbnb listing. I showed them. He searched for the host. Daniel. No active profile. Gone. Deleted. My chest tightened. What? The listing had disappeared. Completely. The officer asked, "When did you book?" 3 weeks ago. He stared at me. "This property hasn't been legally rented in 8 months. I felt like the floor disappeared under me. "No, that's impossible." But it wasn't. The real owner arrived an hour later. An older woman, terrified and confused. She said she inherited the house from her brother. She had never listed it on Airbnb. Never. Which meant one thing. Daniel wasn't the owner. He was impersonating one, using a fake listing, targeting strangers, bringing them there, one by one. Then police found the photographs, hundreds of them. Guests sleeping, showering, changing clothes, eating, watching TV, completely unaware. Then they found videos. The officers never told me everything, but one detective said something I still think about. This wasn't just surveillance. I asked what he meant. He said, he liked being close. Close. That word haunted me. Because suddenly everything made sense. The noises, the breathing, the whisper. He wasn't just watching. He was interacting, testing boundaries, seeing how far he could go before being caught. The investigation lasted months. They identified dozens of victims, maybe more. But Daniel, never found. No real identity, no fingerprints in any database. Nothing, no trace. The name Daniel was fake. The photos were all they had. I tried moving on, tried forgetting. It mostly worked, until 6 months later. I received an envelope, no return address. Inside was a single printed photograph. Me, sleeping in that Airbnb, taken from less than 3 feet away. On the back, handwritten in black ink, were 5 words. "You should have stayed longer." I reported it immediately. Police found nothing. No prints, no DNA, nothing useful. I moved apartments, changed jobs, changed routines. But there's one thing I still can't explain. The photo in that envelope wasn't one the police recovered. I know because of one detail. In the image, the bedroom door was open, but the police arrived before I ever opened it that night, which means the photograph was taken after I called 911, after officers were already on the way, meaning while I sat inside that room, terrified, thinking he was downstairs. He may have already been standing inside my room, right behind me, watching, waiting, close enough to touch me. And somehow, I never noticed.